Some things Mama never told us, but we have always felt them. If you've ever noticed your body changing, your energy shifting, your emotions feeling heavier or unfamiliar, and no one really explained why, you're not alone. Mama Never Told Me is a gentle, honest podcast for women navigating the physical and emotional changes no one prepared us for. We talk about the body, about life, about the things we carry quietly. This isn't medical advice, it's lived experience. It's a soft place to listen, reflect, and trust yourself again. If you're ready for honest conversations without pressure, fear, or fixing, Mama Never Told Me is here, because some things we were never told, but we're allowed to talk about them now. A year ago, my body started whispering. At first, it was subtle. My blood pressure dropped so low it felt like I was slipping out of myself. Dizzy, weak, unsteady in a way I couldn't explain. Then, without warning, the whisper turned into a scream. My blood pressure spiked. My heart raced like it was trying to escape my chest. And the pain returned, sharp and heavy. Right here, in my right upper abdomen. From January to October, I lived in the emergency room. 52 times, high blood pressure, high heart rate. That same right upper quadrant pain again and again. 52 times walking in terrified. 52 times being told some version of, your tests are normal, your labs look fine. This is anxiety, this is stress, this is menopause. I started to feel like a ghost in my own body. There were days I truly believed I was circling the drain, that something was quietly shutting down inside me and no one could or would see it. I thought I was dying. And what no one tells you is how desperate you become when your body is failing and you're not being believed. I had every test known to man. Some of them I only got because I begged. I was passed from my rheumatologist to my OBGYN, to my primary care provider, to my cardiologist, and even a general GI doctor, each one ruling out their piece, each one sending me somewhere else. And every time I walked out with the same hollow answer, we don't see anything wrong. The irony is, many of the tests that finally started to paint a picture weren't ordered by any of them. They were ordered by my oncologist, the one doctor who didn't dismiss my symptoms even though I wasn't there for cancer, the one who said, something is happening here and we're going to look. Because my gynecologist wouldn't, my primary care provider wouldn't, my cardiologist wouldn't, and my general GI doctor wouldn't, and yet my body kept screaming. Then there was the weight. I lost 20 pounds in 4 days, not intentionally, not from dieting, not from changing how I ate 4 days. I watched my body disappear so fast it terrified me. My clothes fell off. My reflection stopped looking like me, and still no one connected the dots. I began questioning myself. Maybe I really am imagining this. Maybe I'm too sensitive. Maybe this really is all in my head. But somewhere beneath the fear, there was a quiet knowing something was wrong. Eventually, after months of being bounced around, I landed in front of a GI specialist who finally listened. We talked, we traced patterns, we followed the pain instead of dismissing it. And together, we found it, the thing no one had taken seriously. My common bile duct silently causing malabsorption, rapid weight loss, and systemic chaos. When it was finally addressed, my body exhaled. Not all at once, not magically, but for the first time in a year, I felt believed. And that moment didn't just change my health. It changed my relationship with myself because my body was never betraying me. She was fighting for me, even when no one else would. And I didn't survive that year alone. There were 3 people who walked this season with me in ways I will never forget. Lakeisha, Sandeep, and Melanie. People who listened when I couldn't explain anymore, who sat with me when fear took over, who reminded me I wasn't crazy. Even when the system made me feel like I was, they didn't need my labs to make sense. They didn't need my chart to be perfect. They believed me, and sometimes that belief is the only thing that keeps you here long enough to find the truth. When we come back, I want to talk about what it means to be held by others. When your body is breaking and the world keeps telling you you're fine, we'll be right back. When your body goes through something like that, you don't come back the same. You don't come back chasing quick fixes. You come back wanting nourishment, some support, something gentle enough to walk with you while you rebuild. During that season, when survival turned into recovery, we found Zivolife, not as a cure, not as a promise, but as a clean, plant-based superfood that helps support daily nourishment when the body needed care, not pressure. If you're in a season of rebuilding, physically, emotionally, or spiritually, Zivolife may be something worth looking into. And our listeners can receive 30% off with code ReggaeHoer. One word at zivo.life. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Mama Never Told Me. Before the break, I shared a piece of my own story, that harrowing year where my body was just screaming, and it felt like no one was listening. I mentioned that I didn't survive that year alone, and I'm so incredibly grateful to have 3 phenomenal women with me today who have walked similar paths, who understand what it means to feel that disconnect between what your body knows and what the world is telling you. Lakeisha, Sandeep, Melanie, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having us, Errica. Honestly, just listening to you talk about those 52 ER visits, the weight loss, it hits so close to home. Because when your body is telling you one thing and every doctor is telling you another, you start to question your own sanity. And for me, as a Black woman, that layer of being dismissed, of being labeled dramatic or overreacting, it's just so real. My pain was never just pain. It was always something else they wanted to put on me.
I really resonate with that, Lakeisha. Errica, your story, especially the part about being passed from specialist to specialist, it's a universal feeling for so many of us. For me, growing up, there was this deep-seated respect for authority, particularly medical authority. You don't question the doctor, you just listen. So when my body started acting up and the doctors kept saying everything is fine, I assumed they were right. It took me years to even consider that my intuition might be more accurate than all those lab results.
Exactly, and the emotional toll of that, right? I mean, you walk into each new appointment with this tiny flicker of hope, thinking, this is it, this person will see it. And then you walk out with the same normal results, feeling like you failed somehow. I remember just crying in my car after so many appointments, not just from the physical pain, but from the exhaustion of constantly trying to prove that something was wrong when all the papers said otherwise. It's a very particular kind of grief, I think, to grieve your own body while everyone tells you it's perfectly healthy.
Oh, Melanie, that hit me so hard. The grief. It's not just the physical suffering, but the grief of losing trust in your body, in the system, even in yourself. Lakeisha, you talked about having to document everything just to be taken seriously. Can you tell us more about that? What does that look like when you're already in so much pain and just trying to survive?
It's another full-time job, truly. I mean, my doctor told me once, just keep a pain journal. And I thought, a journal? I'm barely keeping my head above water. But I did it. Every single ache, every new symptom, the time, the intensity, what I ate, how I slept, and I'd bring it to appointments. Not because I thought they cared about reading it all, but so when they'd say, well, your labs are normal, I could pull out that journal and say, okay, but my lived experience for the last 3 months is not normal. Here it is, day by day. It wasn't about convincing them I was sick. It was about proving I wasn't making it up. It felt like I had to present a case file just to get an MRI.
That's incredible, Lakeisha. A case file. It really shouldn't be that way. I remember feeling so much shame too, like if the doctors can't find anything, it must be me, it must be a weakness. My family, they would say, just pray about it or try this home remedy, which is all well and good, but when you're in severe pain, you need answers, and when you don't get them, the cultural conditioning to just deal with it becomes so strong. You tell yourself, just push through, but what happens when pushing through actually makes you sicker?
That is so real, Sandeep. The just push through mentality? We're so conditioned to be strong, right? To not complain, to be the rock. And then your body, it finally breaks down, and you're still trying to be strong in the face of medical dismissals. I remember one time I went to a new doctor, and I had all my notes, all my previous test results, almost like Lakeisha's case file, and he just barely glanced at it, told me it was probably just stress from juggling work and family. And I thought, yes, I am stressed, but this pain is not just stress. This is something else. It's that feeling of being seen through, but not actually seen.
Seen through but not seen. That's perfectly said, Melanie. It's like they hear your words but filter them through their own preconceived notions or what their tests allow them to see. For me, that it's stress or anxiety label was thrown around so much, it started to become a prison. Like if I admit I'm anxious, then it validates their dismissals. But if I deny it, I'm not being honest. It's a lose-lose situation that just isolates you further.
Right. And then you start self-censoring. You go in and you're thinking, okay, how do I present this in a way that sounds believable but not desperate? How do I sound credible but not aggressive? It's a performance, really, on top of feeling terrible. And when you're already fighting for your life, that mental energy to perform is just, it's gone. It's utterly depleting.
It is, and the constant cycle of hope and disappointment, it chips away at you. Each time you get a normal result, it's not a relief, it's another wall, another reason to doubt yourself. For so long, I felt like I was searching for an enemy that everyone else swore wasn't there. And that internal battle, it's almost as bad as the physical symptoms. It's the loneliness of it all.
The loneliness, yes. That's the part that truly broke my heart. When my family and friends, bless their hearts, they'd say, well, the doctors know best, or maybe you just need to relax. And they meant well, but it just made me feel even more isolated, like I was on an island, experiencing something no one could comprehend, even the people who loved me most. Because they weren't getting the answers either, so they defaulted to trusting the medical system, which was actively failing me.
That's exactly it. And that's why these conversations are so vital, isn't it? Because when the medical system fragments our bodies into specialties and then dismisses the whole person, sometimes the only place you find validation is in community. It's in sharing these stories, hearing someone else say, me too. That me too can be as powerful as any diagnosis because it makes you feel less broken.
Absolutely. My Me Too moment came when I finally found a online support group. And suddenly, it wasn't just me. It was dozens, hundreds of women with similar experiences, similar dismissals. And seeing their strength and seeing that they kept fighting, it gave me the courage to keep pushing for answers. Because honestly, there were days I just wanted to give up. It's too much to carry alone.
It truly is. I think that belief from others, that genuine belief, it's a form of healing in itself. When someone just looks you in the eye and says, I believe you, it's like a quiet exhale for your entire nervous system, because you've been holding your breath for so long, waiting for someone to validate your truth. It was a turning point for me, finding someone who simply listened without judgment.
And that person doesn't even have to be a doctor, right? Sometimes it's a friend, a family member, or like you said, a community of women online. It's someone who lets you be exactly where you are, in all your pain and confusion, without trying to fix you or explain it away. That's what I needed most, more than another test. Just to be seen and believed, because that's where the healing really starts, in that space of acceptance.
You know, when my common bile duct issue was finally addressed, it wasn't a magical overnight fix. But that feeling of being believed, of finally having a name for the monster under the bed, it changed everything. It healed something deeper than just my physical symptoms. It healed that part of me that had been taught to doubt herself, to endure quietly. And hearing all of your stories today, it just reinforces that truth. Our bodies aren't betraying us, they're trying to speak. And it's our job to listen and to find the people who will listen with us.
And sometimes that listening starts with us, with trusting that quiet voice inside, even when the noise of the world and even the medical system is telling us something different. It takes courage, but it's worth it.
It is, and it's okay to advocate for yourself, even if it feels uncomfortable. Your body is yours, and your truth is valid.
And you're not alone. If you're out there feeling unheard, feeling like you're disappearing, please know that there are so many of us who have walked that path, and we believe you.
Thank you, Lakeisha, Sandeep, and Melanie, for this incredibly powerful conversation. Your stories are a testament to strength, resilience, and the life-saving power of belief. To all of you listening, if any part of this resonated, please know you are not dramatic, you are not imagining it, and you are allowed to be believed. Your body is trying to speak to you kindly, and now we're allowed to listen. Thank you for being here, for trusting this space. This is Mama Never Told Me, for the things we were never told but always felt. We'll be back next time. Before we close, I want to say this. Short pause if you recognize yourself anywhere in this story, in the fear, in the exhaustion, in the feeling of being dismissed or misunderstood. I want you to know you are not alone. What I learned through this season is that our bodies don't break out of nowhere. They speak sometimes softly, sometimes urgently, and far too often we're taught to doubt them before we're taught to listen. This episode wasn't about answers. It was about believing yourself when no one else does. It was about staying long enough to be heard. And it was about trusting that your body is not betraying you, even when the road to understanding is long. And this is where the conversation continues, because in the next episode, we're going to widen the lens. You'll hear the anonymous story of another woman, one who walked her own path through fear and uncertainty, but had the support of a partner who believed her from the beginning. And then you'll hear the other side of my story, the part I haven't told yet, the part about what happens when your partner doesn't understand, when support comes late, and how that nearly cost me my marriage before it finally changed it. If you've ever wondered how these moments affect relationships, if you've ever felt alone inside your own body, or if you love someone who's going through something you don't fully understand, episode 2 is for you. Thank you for trusting me with this story. Thank you for listening with an open heart. This is Mama Never Told Me, and I'll see you in the next episode.